All right, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Happy Monday morning. My name is Pele, and I work for the MakeCode team. And this week on the 9 a.m. show, we're going to be looking at the beta release of from Microbit. Announced a feature there. If you're a mixer, feel free to ask some questions on the chat. We'll try to answer that. Otherwise, today we're going to be looking at WebUSB, which is a very cool technology that is being kind of spreading on internet, and that is going to be used to do very quick downloads to your microbit board, right? So today we're going to cover the WebUSB. If you're wondering about what else is in the beta, you can always go and check our blog. This is makecode.com/blog, and you'll see lots of info there about all the things that we added in the release, including today WebUSB. All right. So WebUSB. Why do we want to have WebUSB? Well, one of the most painful part about the microbit is that they have my little program here, and if I want to download this into my microbit, I need to click download. Say I need to grab this and figure out a way to. I like to do the save link as, but I need to basically take that file and then find the microbit drive, and then so that's not the most friendly, and certainly with kids, they kind of struggle sometimes with the drag and drop. Mouse trackpads are not good, and so WebUSB allows you to get rid of that step. That is, lets you download in one shot into your microbit. And we're going to see how this is being done, and also how we're going to have to upgrade the firmware. So I've gotten here. I've got a microbit here, and this is kind of one of the first one I got. It's a regular microbit. It's running my code here, and I'm going to start the flow of doing WebUSB, and I'm going to troubleshoot what may happen in your classroom as well, because there's a little step that needs. So the way you start the flow of WebUSB is that, and for kids, that's going to be probably the idea you want to do, is you click download as usual. You've been trained at doing that. But now you see that there's this new button, and it kind of helps you start the flow. We put it there because we know people are trained to click download. That will kick in the dialog to pair your device to the browser. So once you're, just like any Bluetooth device, once you paired your device, your computer will remember it, and then actually this web page will remember it, and Chrome or Edge will be able to just connect to the device immediately. Of course, if your computer gets reset overnight by your administrator, then this might not be true as well. So to connect to WebUSB, you need to be cabled. So USB cable to your computer, and you're going to click the pair device. And this is going to show the Chrome or Edge device connector. So Chrome will show you any device it knows, and this one in particular, has some old firmware on it. It's one of the early device. Now, if I take another device I have here, you'll see that. I plug another one. Now there's a name that shows up, BBC Microbit. That looks pretty good. So what happens? We're going to look at what happens first when you're facing a device that doesn't want to show up. Okay, because this is likely to happen if you have one of the early microbits. So you want to click cancel, and we're going to look at the dialog again. Now there's something new here. There's a big hint that you need to upgrade your firmware, and really it sounds scary, but we'll see that it's actually something that you can do, and it's very safe to do. So I'm going to click check firmware, and this is going to open our general purpose troubleshooting page as far as connecting your microbit. First thing first, you want to check that your cable actually has a data wire in it. Some cables just provide power. So we've got a microbit drive. That's good. Let's check one. Can't skip that. We're going to check the firmware version. And to do that, I'm going to go into my drive here, and I'm going to look at this details file. So in my microbit drive, you'll see a details file. And details will contain information about the version of my microbit, the version of the firmware that runs on the microbit. Right. So this one is slightly, there's the oldest one you'll see is 34. This one is slightly newer. It's got 0243. Fortunately, I look at my instructions. All right, so if I look at my instructions, 0243, 0243, you need to update your firmware. So we need to update it. All right, so let's do that. Let's update the firmware. We're going to step 3. And we're going to put our microbit into maintenance mode. And you see there is this little GIF there that shows how it's done. Let's see if I can zoom in on the microbit here. All right, so following the instructions, what you're going to do is going to unplug the microbit. I'm going to select this. Right. And to good maintenance, you just press reset. So I have my finger on reset here. I'm going to replug the microbit. Okay. Now, when you do that, you will see that in your drive, you have a maintenance drive. I like that. Maintenance drive. And this is basically your microbit is in different mode that allows to upgrade its firmware. It's perfectly safe here. Can't break it. So no worries about that. So if you see the maintenance drive, you're good to go. Now we're going to want to download this hex file. I'm going to download a firmware file. And I think if I click that, I'm going to be thrown into, oh, okay, the microbit guide. The microbit guide has kind of the same instructions. Look into the details. GIF file, I think that's me. And download the latest firmware. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here. I'm not going to do a drag and drop. Right click, save link as. Actually, we can download it. You may want to do so if you're a teacher and you have a classroom set of microbits. You may want to spend a few minutes. I'm going to delete this. Want to spend a few minutes upgrading all your devices. I've got this hex file here. I've got the maintenance, and I'm just going to drag and drop it just like we do with the microbit. Right? And it's blinking just as usual because it's updating. When it restarts, it's going to restart in microbit mode, just like before. So where is there? But now if we go into the details page, see that got our 253. So we are like the latest of greatest right now for this microbit. So this microbit has been upgraded and it is now WebUSB ready. This is probably the hardest part about using WebUSB right now, is that we have you do a firmware update, which is something we try to avoid at all costs. And this is basically the end of the guide. Go back to the microbit. All right, so we're back to our pairing page. And now I'm going to go and pair the device again, attempt number 2. And success, have now PC microbit, CMIs up. So you want to click connect, and this will connect your device to the browser to this MakeCode.microbit.org page, and the browser will remember that. This is a one-time version. And then the question from Dylan about, so we have, let's see. So we have a question in the chat about what's new about WebUSB. And you're right, WebUSB was in the previous version, but at that point, the feature was still experimental in various browsers. And we've done quite a bit of work around making it more robust and more friendly to use. And also, it's being now more deployed in places. Thank you for your question. All right. All right. So let's see. We've got our device paired. Now, what you'll see here is that, and then the way you're going to know that your device is paired is here. You see this sign here in download, and it tells you that it is actually actively connected to the WebUSB device. So it is Chrome has connected. We're talking to it. If there's serial, we'll see it. If I unplug the device, see that it's back at the original icon. And it's going to, now that it knows this device, it's going to automatically try to connect to it whenever you connect it and it detects it, it's going to automatically connect to it. This works, let's say you have another device. So let's say I have another microbit. And if this device is known, is not known, so we're gonna pair, and there's a second way to pair, is in this dialog here. And hold on. All right, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pair this device. Pair, and this is the same flow, pair device, use the device, connect. Now I'm connected, right? Now what the beauty of this is that once it's remembered in the browser, and if your browser settings are not cleared, next time around you come, you plug it in, it's ready to go. This is some improvement we made in this release of the editor, making it more friendly as far as using WebUSB. Okay, so a lot of talk about WebUSB. I'm going to change the program. I'm going to make it the classic of classics, the flashing beating heart. And I'm just going to click download. Now we have, go and do that. And when I click download, you'll see that immediately it is flashing. Now there is really we have two download paths, which is the fast and the fast and slow. So if you're just changing the MakeCode code, typically the download will be a few seconds and then done and fast. However, sometimes we're going to make changes to the underlying runtime, or you're going to use another library that uses plus, in which case the download may take 10-20 seconds, and then you'll see a download dialog. But in most cases, download with WebUSB is going to be instantaneous. Just hit download, wait a few seconds, and then done. You don't have to do drag and drop anymore. That's really the beauty of using the WebUSB approach. The other benefit you get from WebUSB is you get serial output. If you go to serial and go to advanced serial, you have a number of blocks here. And for example, we're gonna be able to, instead of showing, I'm gonna be able to log maybe the acceleration x. I'm gonna do acceleration.x, and I'm also gonna do acceleration.y. So I'm gonna log two values here, and go grab my sensor data. So sending X and Y to the 0 value. Simulator, you see it's logging the value of the sensor. I'm just going to add a little toggle here that we know that something is my favorite little snippet, so that the microbit is alive and doing something in the loop, and plot random LEDs. All right, so that's what's running in the simulator. I'm just going to click download, and sure enough, after a few seconds, I have my output on the microbit. But also what you'll see here is you've got this show console device. Right, so typically if you log data, you'll see this. You can look at the logs from the simulator, but you can also look at the log coming from the hardware through the console device. And this is very interesting because this is data coming through WebUSB into your browser. So if I look at that, this is not responding to the simulator, responding to data collected by the hardware. So you can see that my purple line here is, my teal line is X. If I move Y, you can see the blue line is Y. This is live data that you can see flowing into your browser. I'm using here act.x and y, and we automatically group them into a single graph. And this is a good trick to have in Microbit if you want to see multiple lines on the same chart. While you're here, there's a few controls here that you can use. You can download the data. This will download it as a CSV file. So a CSV file will open either in Excel or in Google Forms. It was big, right? So you'll get a spreadsheet of all the data here, and you can quickly generate a chart. We'll cover that, and we covered that in the past. You can also copy the raw data that came out of the console. So you can also do your own plug. And this works very nicely if you're, for example, unplugging your device and replugging. It'll eventually reconnect, and then data will start flowing again, if the demo gods are with me. All right, we might have to leave. Come on, WebUSB. Right, I'm plugging it one more time. Oh, okay, and now it connected, and we can see that there's a new chart here, the data. There is still a bit of data from the previous run, so eventually this will flush away. We have the new data. This means also that if you're in this view, you connect a new device, it should eventually connect and start streaming data. And this is a different program, so it's streaming different data. Probably some accelerometer demo. All right. So that's WebUSB, which is ported right now. Okay. Now I'm going to show you two more things which are useful in the classroom. If for some reason WebUSB is really not working for you, and because here you cannot you're not downloading to the file anymore, you want to disable that, it is possible to I'm going to show you how to disconnect, because disconnection is somewhat a bit counterintuitive. So there's a disconnect button when you're connected. This will really unpair your device. And this really has to be done by you in the browser. This little GIF shows you that, but look here in particular, you have to click on the lock icon here. And so I'm going to do that. Here you see I have two devices. The two devices I have paired session. And I'm going to want to out. So I'm just going to exit out and exit out. Now the browser needs to refresh, so refresh the page. And at this point, Chrome doesn't know about my microbit, and it's not going to connect automatically to it. So if I'm using this device again, and I click download, we're just going to be in the regular flow. There won't be any other microbit. Second thing that's very helpful to know is that so now you don't get these hex files anymore because they go straight into the device. So how do you save your program? Well, there is a save button. So you want to do here save, and save will be able to save this. And I see there's a bit of chat about the Bluetooth connection. So we're not covering Bluetooth, not really improving supporting Bluetooth in this release. We're mostly focusing on WebUSB this time around. All right. If there are more questions, I think that is the 101 of WebUSB. You'll want to make sure you upgrade your devices. So you're going to want to upgrade your devices. You're going to want to pair your device, and then click right-click. The kids will have to learn to click the save button to get the hex files. Other than that, WebUSB is very fun to use because you kind of take away that little download, which was a bit annoying. All right. And that's all for this Microbit beta deep dive. So I think there was a question in the beginning of the stream that we did WebUSB last year, and that's true. The difference is that made a lot of improvements around reliability and user experience. Hopefully it's easy to use in your classroom. WebUSB is supported in more browsers these days. If you go to Can I Use, which is our favorite site to figure out who's can use this, this is available in the latest Edge. It is also available in Chrome, Opera, and in Chrome for Android. This is where you will see the WebUSB. If you're not in one of those browsers, unfortunately, you cannot use WebUSB, and that means you will not see the options to pair your device. But if you are on these browsers and you're on the Can I Use website, you'll be able to. All right. So if you're not yet, you can subscribe to our website. We'll publish this lesson on our YouTube as well. Hopefully this is a very an easy way. If you're an educator, make sure you go and upgrade all your device firmware so that when your classroom comes back, hopefully like soon or one day, you'll be able to use that. And see you tomorrow. See you in the next show. We're going to cover more deep dives about the upcoming Microbit, MakeCode from Microbit editor. All right. Stop this.